Hello everyone, I'm RecV5,
And I'm Sandman99.
and welcome back to Fallout 4 G9-13 playthrough.
Yes. And in the last episode, we continued on with the original vanilla quest line, just to find out how far we can go with it. And in the process, we rescued K1-98, and we got ourselves a courser chip out of this unfortunate fellow's head. And now it's time to go, because we need to go somewhere and have the courser chip analyzed.
Yep.
And we already know that that the railroad isn't an option. Not only because they were supposedly destroyed in the Diamond City Winds scenario, but also we were unable to
Join them anyways.
Join them anyway. And you know what? It's odd because I've had other playthroughs. This is the first playthrough I ever had where the where Deacon glitched out and you couldn't continue the railroad quest. But I had another playthrough that did that too. And
Really?
And I'm not sure what it is that caused it, but I know that at other times I've had problems. I'm not having any problems right now with this current game build, but I've had problems with, for example, the quest where you have to go and get Jack Cabot's sister from the theater there.
Yep.
And that's a well-known bug in the game. And I used to have a problem with that, and I used to have to use a console command to spawn her in that room so that the quest wouldn't be broken, right?
Well, didn't you also start a new game in between after starting this game with a different character, and then you did the railroad and it worked?
Yep.
So it's just more or less 50-50 whether or not it works.
Yeah, I think so. Well, not even 50-50. I've only had like 2 playthroughs that I know of where the railroad didn't work.
Are we talking maybe like 80-20, 75-25?
Yeah, probably 3/4 of recent playthroughs. Well, I've only had it happen twice, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like I start a new playthrough every other week or anything. I usually will stick with the same character for a while, right?
Yep.
But anyway,
most of the playthroughs you've recently started, it's just worked with.
yeah. But I don't know what the commonality is between the two where it didn't work. Like, I don't know what common, things there might be. So, or it could be, again, I was going to say it could be like the Nick Valentine bug too, where you go to rescue Nick and he won't talk to you. And then it basically breaks the quest because you need him to talk to you so that he can go with you to unlock a door so that you can actually finish that quest. So, anyway, we'll pause while we go outside.
All right.
Pick this up when we get out there.
And we're back.
Yes, and as I was saying, that's also another well-known vanilla bug, is the Nick Valentine bug where you go to rescue him in Park Street Station, and once you fight your way in to the room where he's locked in, he won't talk to you. And, of course, there's also a console command workaround for that, too.
Yep.
That I used to have to use. And basically what you'd do is you'd make a save, and then you would use a console command to reset the cell, which would then crash the game to desktop. But then you reload the game, and then you exit that cell by going out that door that you had entered that area in.
Yep.
And then come back, and, like Nick's AI would be reset so that he would actually work again.
How weird.
Yeah. But there is no, we looked and looked and looked, and there is no console workaround, I guess, that we know of, that we were able to find. That, I'm going the wrong way. That,
would fix the railroad bug.
Fixes the railroad bug.
Well, now that you bring up the Nick Valentine thing, I wonder if we were to ever encounter that again, if you could actually transpose the Nick Valentine fix that you discovered onto the railroad.
No, I tried that, because what it is basically is just a console command that I forget now the exact syntax of it, but it's basically like cell reset,
Yep.
right? And I've tried that too, like in the
Resetting the cell and then leaving and then come back.
When you enter the church, basically it's all the same cell. When you enter the church and go through the catacombs to where you when you first encounter the railroad, right?
Wow, so the railroad is like well and truly fucked then.
Well, in certain playthroughs. And
but not in all playthroughs.
But not in all playthroughs. It's not consistent. Right? It's a little bit like even if you go to Skyrim, you know, that bug where sometimes Brynjolf won't talk to you when you first start trying to join the Thieves Guild.
Yep.
And he'll just stand there and basically the Thieves Guild quest breaks and you can't do anything. You know, like it's kind of like that, but it's not, you know, like even when I was experiencing that bug at one time.
There was a console command fix for it.
Well, I mean, there was a workaround. It wasn't really a good fix, but there was a workaround so you could at least continue. But
the railroad is just a hard stop.
Yeah, the railroad one appears to be just a hard stop. If you run into that particular bug, you're not playing the railroad today, right?
Nice shot.
Well, you don't have to be terribly accurate at that range, because when you're firing like 75 or 80 pellets at once,
and they all explode,
well, you know, like it's pretty much like that. You remember that funny meme about the guys playing the Dungeons and Dragons like game where the wizard guy kept saying, "I cast fireball."
Yeah. I remember that.
It's like I cast fireball, right?
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Behind you. Oh, maybe not entirely behind you. Oh, looks like
Uh-oh, that one's gonna get to me before I can do anything, though. We'll do one of those as a precaution, just to make sure he can't one-shot me. See, that's one thing I don't like about this version of the favorite thing as opposed to the Skyrim version of the one, is when you go into the Skyrim favorite menu, like the little D-pad controlled thing,
yep,
it stops time, so you've got time to sort through and rifle through your stuff.
Yeah, whereas the favorites menu in this one,
the favorite menu in this one doesn't, right?
Yep. You honestly, there's a lot of time-stopping things that they've taken out of these games recently that I think they should have left in.
In my opinion, it kind of reduces the efficiency or the usefulness of the favorite menu, because I find myself going into this menu all the time anyway.
Yep.
Because at least
this one stops time.
Time stops, and I can actually look for the thing that I want, right?
Well, it's also kind of like how time used to stop in dialogue in older Bethesda games, but it doesn't now, right?
Damn it. Come on!
Pressing the wrong button, I think.
Oh yeah, right.
All these games, man.
Yeah, too many.
Too many games, too many controls.
See, but these robots with the bladed arms are particularly dangerous, right?
Yeah, they'll one-shot you.
Even with very high-level character, they can one-shot you.
Oh, here comes a slowpoke.
Oh, okay, well. So you don't mess around. Like that one, actually, he disappeared. I think he went inside this building.
Yeah, I think you clipped him inside the building.
But you don't mess around with those types of robots. You do whatever you can to boost your damage resistance to the maximum.
Yep.
And you just make sure that they aren't able to, if possible, avoid being attacked by them at all. Like, avoid being hit by them at all. But if you can't, then make sure that you've got
enough buffs up
enough
to survive.
buffs up to survive that hit if they're going to get in there and hit you.
Yeah, actually, you were playing Skyrim recently, and you had a funny thing with dialogue, didn't you? With the lack of dialogue freeze.
I was actually flower picking like I do, and there was those pools that are in front of Dragon's Reach. In Whiterun, and they have like barnacles and stuff like that on the bottoms of the pools.
Yep.
And I was down there, and I was happily picking barnacles, and I was about to surface for a gulp of air. And the courier shows up underwater with me and starts telling me how he's got this letter that he wants to deliver to me. And meanwhile, I'm going, come on, get on with it. I don't want to drown down here while you're talking to me, right?
God. Yeah, I don't know. I think dialogue freeze is something that they should have kept in.
Yeah, exactly, because you can get caught in a loop. Talking, like being force greeted by somebody at just the wrong time and get killed over it, right?
Yep. Or you can be in dialogue with somebody and then get killed before you can exit dialogue.
Yeah.
That can happen too.
Well, the thing is that a lot of times, though, you can pick the time and place where you're going to do the dialogue thing, but, things like the... like Skyrim messengers and stuff like that. The things where they force greet you.
Yeah.
If you're, like, they run up to you and then engage you in dialogue whether you want to talk to them or not, right?
Yeah, so you got your super powered werewolf mod installed, and then a courier walks up to you and talks to you, and then a werewolf hits you in the back.
Yeah.
And kills you, right?
Yeah, well, you know what? That kind of thing happens. And, that's why, seriously, if you're going to have forced greetings like that, then at least time should be suspended while the conversation goes on.
Yep.
Because, like I managed to, just use the circle or the B button, I guess, to exit out of that, like abort that conversation early enough so I could get out of the water and take a breath before I drowned, right?
Yep.
But that would have been a really dumb way to die, right?
Yep. And especially because you like to play hardcore too.
Well, I try to play, I relax that standard for these playthroughs because, you can't just start over again because you got killed when you're, like a
doing
dozen.
It for YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But when I'm playing my own private playthroughs, I basically play the same character until I get killed, and then I start over. Right?
Yep. And so that character that you have that's over level 200 here in Fallout 4, you actually survived for 200 levels without getting killed.
That's right. And actually, funny enough, but, it's difficult to attain that kind of, to get that kind of an achievement.
Because it's not just good planning either, it's also good luck.
It also involves good luck at certain key times, because no matter how carefully and tactically you try to play, sooner or later something, if you're unlucky particularly, sooner or later something will happen that will get you, right?
Yep.
And, I just happened to be lucky there as well. But, and oddly enough, though, I was going to say the very first time that I ever played this game, I actually managed to get a clean playthrough, but except for one time, And that was when I was following Deacon up onto the overpass to talk to Ricky Dalton there.
Yep.
And you know how sometimes your controller goes haywire and you veer to one, like to the left or right?
Yeah, you've got that bug where
and you have veers. And I've discovered since then that I have to do like a little bit of a hop in the air to break that.
Yep.
Right? But basically, that it chose about that time when I was next to the bus there on a narrow spot in the overpass to veer to the left, and I veered to the left and ran right off the edge of the overpass, right?
God.
So, yeah, that was the only death that I experienced with my very first playthrough. And I was infuriated because it was not just me like being unlucky in a battle or making a bad choice or whatever.
It was a stupid controller bug.
It was a stupid controller bug, right?
Yep.
And, but other than that, and that's why I decided to keep playing that character, because I decided that a bug like that should not count, right?
Yep.
But anyway, with this character, I think I've died twice. And that was actually the second time was quite a long time ago now.
You're back. The glowing sea. Virgil. What happened?
Do you know anything about decoding courser chips?
A courser chip? You fought a courser? Oh my god. Unfortunately, I can't help you. I've worked on a lot of synths, but never a courser. I don't know what that chip does, let alone how to
What, you can take a piece of Kellogg's brain and put us into his memories, but you can't do this? Really?
They're the only ones I know that even have a chance at cracking Institute security. They're called the Railroad.
They can't be the only people who can crack a damn code.
A pre-war computer chip, maybe you could find someone else. But the Institute is far more advanced. They built the synths, for God's sake. The Railroad's the only group with people who even understand Institute security protocol at the most basic level. Trust me, you need to talk to them.
Yeah, but they're all dead.
Oh, maybe this is where it ends.
Search Railroad HQ, it says. Okay.
Well, how the hell is this gonna work?
I have no idea.
Are they all gonna shoot you when you go in there, or what's gonna happen?
Well, are they even still alive?
Yeah, there's another good question.
Wow, I've got a lot of rad scorpion steaks.
Maybe it's gonna be one of those things where the quest marker points at a corpse.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. After I sell off a whole whack of these rad scorpion steaks, because I'm carrying a lot of them.
Oh, you're feeling the need to switch back to iguana on a stick, are you?
Well, I'm also going to have to go someplace where I can drop off some of my junk, because I'm carrying a lot.
Means a lot to me that you made the library a safer place. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
You're here to trade.
Okay, I don't have any armor to break down.
I've got a few minutes to browse.
Remember, no returns, exchanges, or death threats.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Aid. Okay, well, we'll sell her that. We'll sell that. Yeah, got a whole bunch of these kinds of things. We can't really sell very much because these things are worth a lot, surprisingly. Right?
Yep. Actually, you just sold Deathclaw steaks.
Yep, that's right.
Weren't you going to sell Rad Scorpion steaks?
What difference does it make? Right? Rad Scorpion steaks are even more expensive than Deathclaw steaks, so...
Oh, wow.
So I guess I have to stop off at a settlement somewhere before I continue on with this,
Because you're carrying too much food.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll pause briefly.
All right. And we're back.
Yes, and So we're going to probably head for County Crossing first. I know we're going to have to go back and forth a couple of times here.
Yep.
But I need to go and drop off stuff because I am so full right now. And County Crossing is about the closest
Settlement you got?
settlement that I've got, yeah. That reminds me, I keep forgetting.
Yeah, you have the unlimited sprint now.
That's right, I can sprint unlimited. Hey, who was that? Oh,
Vampire spawn?
They spawned behind me.
Well, whoever they was, they did.
Yeah. Yeah, they were vampires. See, one of them turned into a pile of ash. Right?
Yeah, they always spawn right behind you, right in your back pocket, but I guess if you're sprinting everywhere, then,
Yeah, well, that's why it's good to be able to basically sprint unrestricted.
yeah, because you can actually outrun them.
Because they spawn about, I don't know, maybe a distance of 2 or maybe 3 floor tiles. You know, like the standard square floor tiles. It seems like the distance they spawn directly behind you is about 2 to 3 floor tiles distance. So, what is that? That's about 10 yards.
Yep.
Between 10 and 12 yards behind you, which is basically point blank range for almost any kind of weapon, right?
Yep.
And so if you're sprinting, then by the time they spawn and it takes them a second or so to get their bearings and that kind of thing, well,
and
then
notice you.
At least you've managed to open that gap up a little bit.
So you can just turn around and hit him with your punt gun.
Yeah, well, also, you know, like the vampire acolytes tend very often to be armed with, you know, break action lasers and things like that.
Yeah.
And, come on, step out where I can see you.
Well, now and then there's one even with a Gatling laser.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the hunters usually that do that.
Oh, okay.
Right, the vampire hunters that spawn with Gatling lasers and flamers and things like that. So
they're even worse.
They're even worse. But anyway, you know what? If he's not going to cooperate and step out where I can shoot him, then I'm just going to move. There.
Well, that was an invisible one.
Yeah. He never came down.
Maybe he did. Maybe he's just invisible. It's not like you'd be able to see him.
Yeah. Well, no, they become visible after they're killed, right? But, well, there he is. He must have come down way over there.
Okay.
But I don't have enough room to go and loot him. Well, maybe I do now that I managed to break down some of that other stuff I was carrying. Yeah. I leave the bandage for both eyes thing because I can't scrap that. So it's not useful. But most super mutant armors with the super mutant redux mod that introduces, most super mutant armors can be broken down into a lot of components. And a surprisingly good variety of components too. Right? Like wood and screws and cloth and rubber and you name it. Like all kinds of stuff, right?
Never changes.
Anyway, we'll do a little bit of cooking here again.
Yeah, you can make some mutant hound chops.
Yep. See, even that brush axe, like, look at all the stuff you get from it, right?
Yep.
And I know I've got a couple of perks in the scrapper ability. But even without it, you get a lot of, you know, like you get quite a few things.
Steel, cloth, screw, plastic.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I'm using a laser weapon of any kind, am I?
No, I don't think
I
so.
didn't think
Not
so.
at the moment.
Okay. For some reason, I just seem to have picked up a lot of fusion cells.
Kill any synths lately?
Oh, I know where they probably got them all from. Was from the gunners in Green
Oh,
Tech
yeah. That's
Genetics,
correct.
right?
Yep.
Because a lot of the gunners tend to be armed with laser weapons.
Yep. That's where you got them from.
So we're just going to lighten our load here a little bit.
Wow, you can carry 705 now.
Yep. Well, that's with the draft of the Brahmin too, right?
Yeah, but I remember when it was like something like 685 or something. That must be all that, all those, alchemy upgrades coming into play there.
Yep.
Although, what the hell are you carrying around that's got you weighed down to 570?
Well, 29 rad scorpion steaks.
Yeah, wow, okay, those things are kind of heavy, aren't they?
Yeah. And all these potions add up too, right? You know, like I'm carrying around a lot of potions. And even those whiskey, pork, and beans, right? Like they're fairly heavy too.
Yep.
And lots of junk. Okay, that lightens things up. quite
Yeah,
a bit.
wow, that just instantly got rid of like 200 pounds.
Yeah. Now, do we have any 45 ammunition here? No. Okay. All right. So anyway, and also, you know, like even with once we've dumped all that stuff, we're carrying quite a lot of weight because the punt gun here is, you know, like
Extremely
absolutely
heavy.
ridiculously heavy. The thing weighs like 51 pounds, right?
Yeah, and that's the small version.
Yeah, and that's the cut down barrel version, right? Like,
I don't know, you might have to go back to your ammunition plant.
I just wanted to introduce myself. I
Oh,
I just
another
wanted
new
to say
settler.
Thanks for the opportunity.
yeah, okay. Anyway, we'll have a look here and see if we can, okay, we can make some day tripper. Can't make any more elixirs right now. Looks like we're a little ways away from any of them. Although if we had 4 berry mentats, we could make an elixir of intelligence. Could actually have enough.
Can you make berry mentats?
Berry mentats? I'm not sure. Let's go down to drugs and see if I can. Okay, 1. Okay.
Well, I guess you'll just have to wait for 3 more.
Yep. I'll have to wait until I've collected 3 more.
Maybe the general store has 3 more.
I don't know. You don't normally buy or even find those very much. They're not extremely common.
Yeah.
You know, but there is a vanilla recipe, of course, for making it, so you can make your own berry mentats, right? Anyway, I guess I need to sleep now for a bit. We'll do that. Anyway, I remembered to uncheck darker nights before starting this episode.
Okay.
So people, we were running around at like 2 o'clock in the morning, middle of the night, right?
Yep.
And so people may notice that it's a little bit easier to see without the darker nights mod active, right?
And hopefully less prone to YouTube crushing our video compression artifacting too.
Yep.
Because it's funny too, because when we upload these videos on Odyssey, they look crystal clear perfect all the time, because Odyssey doesn't really do anything to process the video or crush it down more.
Yeah.
And we make a fairly good effort to compress these videos. I mean, most of these videos, like the final compressed file size comes out to between, say, 4 and 7 gigs, right? Depending on the video.
How high the vault numbers go?
But YouTube, even though these videos tend to be between an hour and a half long, YouTube has this, like, desire to crush them down even more anyways, and they just reduces the bit rate on them to shit, so that you end up with all these square compression artifacts all over your video.
Yeah, well, they probably do that so that people running potato computers can watch the videos too, right?
Well, either that or
otherwise
they're cheap.
they buffer forever, right?
Or they're cheap on their server bandwidth, damn it.
Maybe. I don't know. You know more about that than I do. But anyway, I was just going to say, like, I've noticed that other people who, because I watch a few other people's playthroughs and stuff every now and then too.
Yep.
And they all experience that problem as well.
Yep.
And a couple of them, I would imagine, have very good quality rigs. Like one of the guys who does a Skyrim playthrough that I've been watching lately, he's the guy who did the Sanguinaire mod.
Yep.
And I would imagine that he has a pretty high quality setup. But even his stuff, like especially in dark areas, like in some of the tombs and things like that, and also
that's where it's most noticeable.
And also at night, like anywhere where there's a dark area or
Yep.
a dark shadow or something like that, you see that pixelation going on, right?
Yeah, that's where it's most noticeable.
And I'm pretty sure that when he does the recording, he does a pretty high quality recording, and it looks good until YouTube gets a hold of it, right?
That's right, yeah. Because YouTube, like, crushes and mangles things. And I mean, I'm trying to feed YouTube as high of a quality of input as possible, so that when they do crush and mangle things, hopefully it's less bad, but that's about all you can do to try to mitigate the issue, right?
Yeah.
And there's still going to be some episodes and some instances in some dark areas where it still happens.
It looks as though I can attempt to go in here, right? Full of water, though. Right? Full of water?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's still full of water.
Railroad HQ escape tunnel.
I would say F5 is your friend.
Yeah, we'll do a quick save here. Maybe we'll even go out and have a smoke here just in case something goes really wrong. And then we'll see, because I have the aqua perk so that I can swim underwater and all that kind of stuff without drowning. So we can probably go in here and have a look, but
you have no idea how screwed up things are going to be.
yeah. Well, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, maybe this is where the vanilla storyline ends.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe this is actually why you destroy the railroad. Maybe it just fits in real nicely with that and provides a nice natural end.
Because, like maybe you discover that you can't, unless I can go in there and somehow that computer terminal that Tinker Tom uses is still working while underwater. Which is something that I highly doubt.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, maybe we'll just switch to something else here that's not going to fire explosive pellets when I shoot things at close range, just in case. So we'll go inside and find out what the inside looks like. Well, it's full of water.
Yep. Totally full of water.
It's totally underwater.
Just as you thought it would be.
Yep, just as I thought it would be. Wow.
See, this is probably one of those areas where we'll get compression artifacts.
Probably, yeah. I turned my Pip-Boy light on
To help with that,
to
yeah.
help with that, but I don't know that that's really going to be terribly helpful, and I can't go any further because it looks like the whole tunnel here is collapsed. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, the whole tunnel's collapsed, so I can't go anywhere, right? Yeah, because that is definitely the where the entrance to the tunnel was.
Yep.
Right there, because I recognize where this boat is. So we can't go in that way because the tunnel is collapsed. Okay.
Harder to navigate down here when it's all underwater.
Well, when you can't see very well, right? Anyway, I guess now we'll pause briefly while we go back outside.
All right. And we're back.
Yes, and we're going to go around and try from the church end again, just to see, you know, if we can get in that way. But I have a feeling, and if it is actually the case, then I have to tip my hat to the FSD creator for thinking of this.
And it makes a perfectly natural, good-fitting end, too.
Yes, because, you know what, Dr. Amari has no idea that the railroad has been destroyed, which is why she would recommend, you know, coming here, right?
Yep.
But anyway, we'll go in the Old North Church side here and see what happens.
I suspect it'll still be underwater from this side.
Yeah, well, it was when I checked here the last time around. Yeah, see. Again. Oh, except that I can run around. Oh, see, the tunnel's collapsed from this end.
Yep.
So, basically, that's it. There is no more railroad, so you cannot get... Okay, yeah, that was just a weird visual bug, right? There is water here. It's just that, you know, like it didn't appear like I was swimming in it, right?
Yo, it's like when...
that happens. That happens occasionally, though. That's got nothing to do with the FSD. That happens occasionally, even in vanilla, where in certain circumstances, for some odd reason, you'll find yourself running underwater,
or swimming above water,
or swimming above water, or stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, we'll pause while we go back outside.
All right. And we're back.
Yes, and so since there is no more railroad, and we cannot search the railroad HQ because we can't actually get in there, right? Then I guess the only other person I can think of who might be able to analyze that chip might be Sturgis. But I don't really see him being able to do it either, because I think, if I remember correctly, Tinker Tom was pretty much the only option for that. We're hungry, so let's
eat some food.
Yeah, let's eat some of this whiskey, pork, and beans here.
Oh, you've got an underwater sound bug.
I have an underwater sound bug. Yeah. Possibly from that weird, yeah. Okay, well, we'll pause briefly while we restart the game here to get rid of the underwater sound bug.
Sorry, folks. And we're back again.
Yes, and we got rid of the underwater sound bug.
Yeah, it's just like the continuous water drinking bug.
Yeah, or the machine gun turret sound bug that happens sometimes, right?
Yep.
Where you hear that rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat, and the only way you can get rid of that sound in that area, and it seems to be, you know, like localized, right?
Yep, yep.
The only way you can get rid of the sound in that area is to basically restart your game. And then it seems to clear that.
Unidentified intruder
That robot is way up there in the overhead tram car or whatever that is. But anyway, we're going to go and see Sturgis and see if Sturgis has any idea what to do with this. Raider scum. Die, Raider scum.
Yeah, now you can sprint all the way over to Sturgis, eh?
Yeah, that's right. So here we go. Sprinting. I keep forgetting that.
Forgetful superpowers, right?
Yeah, I forget my superpowers. Yes, by the way, if you attain endurance of 21 or greater, that is how you get unlimited sprinting. Which, when you're playing on survival mode, is actually kind of nice that you don't have to do that jog. Come on. Everywhere that you go, right?
Yep.
Okay, super mutants and then rust devils.
It's everybody. Everybody in Boston wants to kick your ass.
That's right. It's just like Skyrim, except it's everybody in the Commonwealth wants to kick your ass. Well, we'll loot all of his stuff. And we'll go up here and we'll loot all of these robots' stuff and take their ammunition. See, that's one thing you have to be careful about, too, when you look at all the pellets, right? Like, look at the spread from those shots.
Yep.
They're everywhere, right? Like, basically, you can't miss anything, like, in about a 10-foot radius when you shoot it. There's even a couple here.
And probably a couple more sailing down range into the distance.
Well, anyway. I like the punt gun. The punt gun is a hell of a lot of fun. Guess, you know, this way is as good a way to go as any. But anyway, I have a feeling that Sturgis is not going to be very helpful. Because, like I said, if I remember correctly, I think Tinker Tom was the only guy who could actually decode the Courser chip.
I think you're right.
But if that is the case, then I have a couple of comments to make about the FSD. First of all, big thumbs up for figuring out a very efficient way to cut off the main quest line while making it still feel kind of like it's progressing, you know, until you get to the point where, okay, the railroad's underwater and the only guy who can decode the chip is dead, right?
Yep, yep.
And that does away with a lot of problems, like, you know, like what would happen if you were able to actually get inside the Institute.
Well,
right?
then you'd be able to probably do a double main quest completion, which would be really screwed up.
Yeah, that would be really screwed up. So, you know, like you don't want to, you know, you don't want to be doing that kind of thing. So yeah, you know, like big thumbs up to the mod author there, Monkey Spunk, for thinking of that and handling it in that way. And the other comment that I wanted to make is that it would have been nice, however, to wow, I actually shot that gun empty and he's still hanging in there.
Yeah, some of these Child of Adam guys are pretty tough.
Yeah. We'll just take some cover here. Well, I'm also not really very good with pistols. You know, like they don't do as much damage as automatic weapons do because I haven't spent the time to specialize in that particular weapon type, right?
Yep. Yeah, you spent all this time working on your punt gun skills.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
There, I'm not even sure if I hit him directly or not, but
You're pretty sure that he's dead.
but anyway, like I was going to say, the only like small downside to the way he handled it is it might have been nice, and maybe it wasn't possible, or maybe it was something difficult to do, but it might have been nice if he had some kind of a trigger so that when you went to the railroad, of course, to try and search the railroad, well, when you discover the caved-in tunnel, then it would at least give you a on the molecular level quest. It would basically give you a quest failed thing, and then but maybe because that's such a important and central quest to the whole game,
It might not have been possible.
maybe it might not have been possible because it might have caused trouble, right?
Yeah, because who knows
if
how
he'd
many
have
other
tried doing
things
that.
are tied to it.
But judging by how thorough this guy has been, and like what a good job that he did in general on this mod, I would say that very likely that he probably thought of that and maybe even looked at it, but decided against it just because it might have broken something else if he tried to do it, right?
Yeah, probably.
So that's the assumption that I'm going to go on anyway. All I can say is well done. I was really worried that maybe he had forgotten that small detail and that I could end up in the railroad that had already been destroyed somehow, and then later in the institute that had already been destroyed somehow, like having almost like a reality shift kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it isn't going to happen by the looks of it, because the FSD author has basically just made it impossible for it to happen, right?
Well, hey, that's pretty good, though.
Yeah, it is. Actually, it's thinking ahead. And actually, I've got to say that in my experience playing his mod, that even, I may have mentioned it before, but even some of the special encounter interior cells that you go into from time to time, like the one where you met Terry, for example.
Yep.
Or the one where the Lexington dogfighting ring was. Well, before you do certain things to trigger those encounters, the vanilla part of that building is basically just a plywooded over doorway, right?
Yeah.
Like it's inaccessible. And it doesn't actually become accessible until...
What just happened?
Uh-oh.
Until you get to a particular point.
Until you act... Oh, they're just shooting the deer. Until you actually, progress and trigger the encounters, right?
Yep.
And then those things appear. And to me, that's good quality, game building, right?
Absolutely.
And that's something that even some fairly good modders of other mods that I'm running weren't able to do. And like I haven't
It
really...
requires an attention to detail and a willingness to really get familiar with how the game works.
Yep. And there are a lot of, pretty good quest-type mods out there that I've played and that kind of thing. But you'll notice that there are certain things going on in vanilla areas on the map. And even though you're not ready to start those areas yet, it's possible to go in.
Yep.
And possibly even break some of those areas before you even start the quest, right?
Yep.
Because they didn't do that trigger method where, for example, guards X, Y, and Z are standing in front of this building, and if you kill those guys, well, then it might break the quest that they're part of later.
Yeah.
When you eventually start that quest line, right? Because they're not there when they're supposed to be there, because you already killed them.
But with the FSD,
but with
they
the
don't
FSD,
even spawn in.
Yeah, with the FSD, those encounters don't even spawn in until it's time, right?
Yep.
So as far as I'm concerned, you know, like if you look at it from that point of view, I mean,
That's the right way to do things.
I'm not a programmer and I'm not a game designer, but I have to say that even as a player of these games, that I found that that is a much better quality and better method.
Yep.
For you know, like building a mod like that, right? It actually makes sense. It feels like the vanilla game then, right?
Yep.
But anyway, boy, I know I've said lots about the FSD mod, and I have to say I really enjoyed it, and I know I've been maybe he should be paying me for advertising or something. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
But some things fall off the conveyor belt here.
But it's a good mod.
But it is. It's a good mod. It's probably pretty much the best mod of its kind that I've ever seen. And, you know, like the guy did comment on his mod page that he wasn't going to be doing mods anymore because he kept getting, you know, snide remarks and rude posts and things like that because people would try his mod out and certain things wouldn't work for them because they've got a mod list of 450 mods or something in it, and it conflicts with something that they've got going on, right? So then they're mad because the mod doesn't quite work right for them, and then they figure it's his fault, right?
When it's one of those 450 mods.
When it's a conflict with one of those 400 odd mods that they're running, right?
Or maybe a couple of them.
Yeah, well, with usually it's only one that's the culprit, right? And it can be sometimes very difficult to root out what the problem is. Even with the, you know, like the tools, the management tools and things like that are available. Because I know, but what I found is that I just made, like, I didn't use a mod tool other than just the basic mod manager to install this mod, like the FSD.
Yeah, because you're still using
because I'm still
regular...
using the old original, you know, old timey Nexus mod manager, right?
Yeah, you're not even using Vortex for this.
I manage my own load order, and I just basically make decisions, and I read mod descriptions carefully, and if it looks to me like a mod that I'm looking at might conflict with other things that I've already got,
then you make an educated decision on it.
Then I make a decision based on whether or not I really want that mod. And if I do, then I might have to remove other mods that I think might cause conflicts.
Yeah.
Right? With the new mod. And in the case of the FSD, well, you know, like, again, I looked at other mods that modified the world spaces, and I read the description of the FSD fairly carefully, and I even asked a couple of questions on posts, which one of the mod author's associates answered, and you know, just saying, will this mod you know, overlap or possibly conflict with with XYZ mod that I'm running, right?
Yep.
That affects these areas of the world space. And you know, like I said, it doesn't hurt to ask a question. Most of these guys, so long as you're you know, polite and that kind of thing, they'll come back and they'll answer your questions.
Well, and this guy did a fantastic job on this mod. Really, like, we really enjoyed your mod.
Yeah. Yeah, I know he's probably never ever going to see this, but
people can be dicks, but we really like your work.
Yeah.
And we would appreciate if someday you made something else.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, it's too bad that
don't let the dicks get you down.
Yeah, it's too bad that he would decide to give this up because of the abusive people.
Yeah, the dicks.
Because then what happens is the people who abuse him spoil it for everyone else, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, more often than not, because I read some of the posts where people are saying this mod is broken, or this doesn't work, or that doesn't work, and it's like, you know what? This mod's not broken, okay?
Yeah, there's nothing broken about this mod at all.
That person has a conflict with another mod that they have, right?
See, we have a saying in the or an acronym in the programmer space, and it's RTFM,
Yeah.
which is read the fucking manual.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I can understand that, and one example of how difficult it can be to track down an offending mod that's causing problems is, remember in my Skyrim I could not enter Volkihar Castle?
Yep.
And it turned out that it was a wing texture mod on the Vampire Lord form, right?
Which broke
Yeah,
your Volkihar Castle.
Because I didn't like the vanilla Vampire Lord wings, because basically all they are is they're just bones.
Yeah.
They with claws on them. They don't even look like wings, and they definitely would not support flight or anything like that. So for a while, I was running a mod that actually made the wings more like wings.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of like bats' wings.
Yep. Yep.
And it gave them a little bit of color as well.
Yep.
And that mod ended up being the culprit, and I don't remember even how we figured that out. I think just started unchecking a mod, trying to enter the castle, crash, uncheck another mod, try it, you know what I mean? Like,
yep, that's exactly how we found that.
It was a painful and lengthy process, and that's how we found that. And who would have thought that that mod would be the cause of it? But it was. So I had to remove that mod. And I don't know that it's necessarily even that mod's fault, because it could very well have been that maybe that mod was just conflicting with some other mod that I had.
Yeah, it could have been some interaction between that mod and another one.
But it's, you know, pretty hard to figure that out, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're running a couple hundred mods.
I mean, wings are a minor enough issue.
That's right. It wasn't like a must-have mod for my playthrough, so, you know, I just dropped it from my load order, and after that, everything was fine.
Good scavenging and busted robots.
Now, where is Sturgis?
Huh?
We came here specifically to talk to him.
Do you have him on guard duty?
Yeah, but guards tend to wander around. Oh, there he is up there. The chef's hat.
Most people are good at breaking things. I enjoy putting them back together.
Yeah, let's try talking
I'd like to trade some items.
Yeah, it looks like all I can do is interact with him like he's a settler now. Okay, so we know that the vanilla quest line now is officially dead.
Yep.
Okay, we're not going to be able to get it out of the list here. But the fact is, we cannot search the Railroad HQ because the Railroad HQ tunnel has been completely and totally collapsed. And so that is the end of the vanilla quest line.
Yep.
So what are we looking at for time here, RecV5X?
We're approaching in on an hour.
Okay, well, maybe what we'll do is we'll call that an episode for this time around, and we'll figure out what we're going to do next. I'm kind of leaning towards Xander's 8, because that would show people something that maybe they haven't seen before. And that's actually a fairly lengthy and well-made quest mod by the modder known as Nihur. And I really liked it. Nihur, though, is a real... Ugh.
For his puzzles?
For his puzzles. Oh, God. Sometimes I'd be trying to solve one of those puzzles, and they'd be so hard, and I would be just cursing him. And then eventually I figure it out, and it's like, oh...
Yeah, and it's like, it makes sense too, right?
But anyway, that might be fun to do. So maybe what we'll do is in the next episode is we'll start Xander's Aid.
All right.
But until then,
I'm RecV5.
and I am Sandman 99.
Have a good one.